Guys, welcome back to the Art of Whiskey, man. I'm here with, I think we called him the Whiskey Giant. Eric is in the house. He's the one who made it today. I didn't think anybody was going to make it today, but you made it. Text me early, says, I'll be there. Now, Eric, I made a list, and you've been a part of the Whiskey Blendery's journey. And guys, as I said in a few other episodes, I don't know how to tell my own story. Isn't that crazy? You have an amazing story, I believe, because it's led us here. And I think even so much further. Do you remember the first distillery you ever been to or went to?
I don't.
Isn't that crazy though?
I really don't.
I remember it because I went to the first distillery with such intent to learn. And because Tim had given me so much time, energy, and effort on the phone, I thought to myself, I want to be prepared for this moment. And get this, I still wasn't prepared. I had no fucking clue what was going on. That dude basically slapped me in the mouth with information. I was like, this dude, I'm more confused than ever. At any hoop, man. So you don't remember, damn.
I don't.
That don't help.
You jump. I could make one up. You wouldn't know any different, but.
The truth is the truth. Well, what was your favorite distillery that you've been to?
Well,
What was one of your
let's
takeaways?
just say it this way. I ran across some distilleries, probably some off-the-wall, smaller ones, that were probably making vodka or moonshine or something like that before I got into the whole whiskey side. So once I got into the whiskey side and was more intentional about it, on what I was looking for, what I had, really my first experience with what I consider a true whiskey distillery was when we went to Louisville a couple of years ago. And
Oh, with Amin?
no, it was the year before that. We went to Old Forester downtown.
How was Old Forester?
Old Forester, that's a good place to visit down there. As far as it's right on Whiskey Row, downtown Louisville. And
Drive up to the dive bar and get PBR.
it's one of the originals, and it's kind of a one-stop shop. You can see everything from. They do everything on a small scale there, as far as the mash, the distilling. They used to. I don't know about the whole change in the barrels, but they built barrels upstairs, filled the barrels. They had a little rick house in the back, storing it. So as far as filling the bottle, putting it in the barrel, bottling it, storing it, and then sampling it, you can kind of see everything from the initial grains coming in and how that goes into the mash, all the way through the process of pouring it out of the bottle. So it was a unique experience in a very small building downtown. You can kind of see everything from beginning to end. So I thought it was a great introduction to the process.
Now,
Understand
and I'm
what
only,
all goes into it.
and I'm only asking this question because you have perspective, one that I don't have because you're a whiskey aficionado, I would say. And in my case, the first distillery didn't prepare me for the blendery, but motivated me to be prepared for the blender. And the blendery was the first place out of all the places I've been that I was like, I got to be a part of this. What was it about the blendery that made you feel like I got to be here?
The blendery was, again, and this only came through knowledge. I heard about the blendery well before I went there, so my only regret is not going there.
Yeah.
Didn't give him a fair chance early enough. Because once I got there, I really understood the intentionality behind the whiskey selection, the mash bills, what was brought into the blendery, why it was brought in,
Jesus.
the age, the mash bills, etc. And then the intentionality behind letting those barrels age, or possibly finishing them, blending them, single barrel quality, and then essentially what does end up in the bottle. It's just not anything. The quality's there where if it's not good enough, it doesn't meet the expectations to go in the bottle, it ain't gonna go in the bottle.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that goes into the bottle is something that a lot of thought was put into. So it's something that I didn't really understand until I got there. And then obviously the whole Double Jeopardy thing, I got to try Double Jeopardy when I was there and actually left with one. That whole
You and me
thing
both.
opened my eyes too to some of the boo eyes and the happy accident that happened that resulted in 50 barrels of Double Jeopardy that we've grown accustomed to enjoying through the last 2 years for me.
Yeah, and likewise, guys, I've been there maybe going on 2 years, I think, as we approach March. And even what I hear Eric saying specifically is, guys, I walk into the blendery, and when you buy whiskey, be it Sagamore, Bardstown, Elijah Craig, etc., you go, hey, you kind of know what you're getting, right? But you also don't know what you're getting because you didn't get to learn the why, in a sense, they put this in the barrel. You got a good idea because they maybe put the story up. Hey, we did this year, so and so laid this 10 years ago. At the blendery, you physically can watch Tim go, here, grab me a thief, put it in this cup. Oh, wow, I think that's ready to go today. You try it and go, oh shit, that's good. That thing get bottled, you wax it, and then him say, let's call this root beer. Let's call this orange juice. Let's call this RC Cola, etc. Right? And you go, how'd you do that? Because my intent when bottling this was to tell a story that connected to something you're familiar with, but also just make sure the whiskey's at its peak or its best, right? And that's just, I think that's a downside with when we go back to some of these other brands. Because if I go grab a Bardstown, this is a thing, in my opinion, as Chance brought the Discovery series, that's closest to the blender. It had unique flavors and had complexity, as you guys would say, that the others didn't have. But it still lacked, in my opinion, kind of story and a structured story or why and whatnot. And like, hey, why did this get bottled on this day and this levy? Did you just put this in the ground and 11 years is ready to go? Or did you go, today's the best day, we could bottle this? And then, with a company this big, how do you bottle 1 million bottles? And it'd be the same flavor profile, literally, over, I guess, the dump date per se.
Yep. And again, going back to when I got into it, is the majority of the stuff that I was buying off the shelf that I was enjoying was mass produced. So you expect no matter where you got it, it all tastes the same, whether it was Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Barrel Proof, or Wild Turkey 101. It was all mass produced. I didn't really dabble a whole lot, but I started to get into the single barrels to understand, single barrel, it could be different. Obviously, it's different from barrel to barrel, and that really accentuated that when I got over to the blendery and really understood the uniqueness of single barrels and how completely different they can be, even though they come from a same lot, same mash bill, same age.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Now, if you had to recommend people go who are in Kentucky or Tennessee or wherever you've been, top 3 distilleries you recommend them going to, because I'm gonna try to do. I got about 3 or 4 videos with Eric, and again, it's based on my list, guys. I'm telling my story from my top distilleries, Tim being number 3, and then even my 4th and 5th one. My 4th distillery personally was Wild Turkey, and it was a happy accident. It was when they doing the 70-year release.
Yep.
Get to KBF 2024, no clue what's going on. Tim's like, all right, we got to go in here. I'm like, what are these people doing here this time of morning? I'm literally like, why are these people here? Standing outside the door. There's a line. They're all buying it. He's like, dude, you got to buy one? I'm like, dude, I didn't bring no money in here. He was like, well, take this card. And even going to Four Roses, where I got the poncho that people love. It's like, my next distillery was Four Roses. And now I stayed up with Tim and his brother and friends till 3:30 in the morning. And they all were like, oh, we're going to go with Tim in the morning. Tim was sick and I remember him doing this. He was backing out the door like this here. And I said, you going? He says, yeah, I'm going. I was like, all right. And I was sleeping in this recliner like this. I'll see you later. and I should have went with it because that bottle was unique. And he had to get a wristband. There was only 1,000 bottles available of that particular release, 2024. There's some moments that I missed that I wish I would have just saw with my own 2 eyes, because I was at Kentucky at the right place at the right time. But what are your top 3 distilleries that you recommend? Because even in my first thing is like, hey, what are the distilleries you've been to? How did they impact you? What did you learn? Now I almost can't wait to go back because I know what to capture. I only even bought the rain jacket thing because it was fucking pouring rain. Then by the time we got to KBF that day, it was too hot. So now the humidity is crazy. I'm like sweating and like drinking too much. I'm like, I gotta go to bed, man.
Well, I would say, having been there and done it for multiple times over multiple years, that the actual process and what you're allowed to see and seen on these tours is that a lot of these tours are the same as far as the process and what you see as far as the mash and what they do as far as distilling and putting it in the bottle and the rig house. I mean, each one has its nuances, but essentially once you see one still, you've seen them all. I mean, there's column stills versus pot stills, but as far as the rick houses, they're all the same. So it's more, to me, it's more about the property or the unique story is what I would focus on and try to understand what makes Wild Turkey unique from as far as the history. And Jimmy Russell's been there for 70 plus years versus Maker's
He on his
Mark.
last bottle.
Maker's Mark has only been around for about 70 years. I mean, I think
Really?
it was the mid 50s when it came back, I believe. But they're more of a wheated bourbon. You know, to understand why they use wheat, why it's important to them, why they haven't ventured out from there. So they're all wheated whiskeys. So as far as beautiful properties, I mean, Maker's Mark. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's out in the middle of nowhere, and it doesn't get any prettier than that. It's a great experience. They got
So
a great
go to Maker's Mark.
They got a great customer experience center there where you can get pours, gift shop, great tours. You can see the cellar where they
Say less, bro.
age their cellar age stuff, and then they do all the one-off projects for the
Eric will be
single
a
barrel
part
picks.
of our Patreon and stuff too, guys. Part of me building everything that I'm building is because I need help. I'm never gonna love whiskey like these guys. I always love the food side and the friends and the community. They're going to, like Chance. I didn't even realize when I showed you I talked to Chance earlier, that was like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yep.
I was on FaceTime with Chance. I've never been on FaceTime with Chance for an hour and 20 minutes just talking about, and it wasn't a dull moment. But Maker's Mark is a must-see if you get into Kentucky.
I would say Maker's Mark. There's a lot of smaller ones along the way. I mean, Maker's Mark's like an hour and 15 minutes from Louisville.
Oh.
I mean, it's farther out than Wild Turkey or whatever, but I'm a big Wild Turkey fan. I enjoy the Wild Turkey story. It's great to see. I mean, that was a good tour just to see the volume that they're doing through there.
Wild Turkey,
I think it was like 23 vats of their mash was in 23 vats holding 30,000
I
gallons
was just there to
each.
purchase whiskey. It does look good. A photo, I don't know if it's on this phone or the other one, but a photo that pops up off the top is me and Tim standing with the bridge on my other phone. I was doing like this, and it was at Wild Turkey, and that was the first, literally, outside of TX and even Lockwood here, that was the first distillery where I got to go with Tim, and I remember someone saying, now it makes sense. They were like, hey, let me try that Beacon real quick. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And I remember somebody took a photo of it. Maybe it was Tim's brother. And I've tried all 10 Beacons. So, I did that with Buck.
Yep.
That's what kind of my
Master's Keep. Yeah.
Master's Keep. Yeah. So I was telling Chance, I said, how do I map a journey that nobody else will ever walk? Like, what's the probability of you, like, I could show you, Buck texted me yesterday. I said, Friday or Saturday? He goes, Friday. Trev, you thirsty? Yeah, it was like Friday. I'm like, Buck, I'm not going up there today. Saturday. What time you hitting the blender? Great day for drinking. At 8:54 in the morning, I said, Buck, I'm not going. And
That
then
was before he found out it was closed.
Look, his last message is, stay thirsty. You go, dude. I said, Buck, you be safe today. I just texted him back, but my baseline for just entering the whiskey space has been nothing but superior whiskey, to say the least. And then it's like, Buck was, here, open the box. What are you doing? I said, dude, I'm not about to open your box.
Yeah.
I said, we got to record the whole thing. But from what I've learned, Master Keep coming to an end.
Yep.
Another good pour.
On to their next adventure. So that was a 10-year series. I mean, all these series seem to come and go, and they're always replaced by the next greatest thing, hopefully.
So Maker's Mark, Wild Turkey, what else? Who else would you recommend?
I like Bardstown in Bardstown. It is
Nice.
it's a more recent one, but it's a more modern version of a distillery in Rickhouse. I mean, it's brand new.
And did he make his money in telecommunications?
I think the owner did. He had some money from somewhere else where he was able to get a good start. And actually, the master distiller there was a old retiree. He was a master distiller at Maker's Mark for like 25 or 30 years. So it's a modern version of how to do old stuff with whiskey. Fancy looking rick houses.
Nice.
Fancy. I mean, a beautiful, wonderful place for lunch. If you go there for anything, go there for lunch.
I've
Great
been there for
restaurant.
lunch. It was good food. It was good food. And I said, Tim, I almost did this. This is a true story. I'm glad I didn't, man. So they have that other menu, right?
Yep.
And the menu where you can go and buy these pours that are
Yep.
ridiculous, right?
Yep.
I said, Tim, if I had to
Out
get
of the
a,
library.
if I had to get a pour from one of these, like, which one would you recommend? He goes, I wouldn't pay for any of these. I was like, well, shit, if you wouldn't buy it, I ain't gonna buy none. Because I know if I said I was gonna buy one, he would have bought one. But since he ain't buying one, I ain't buying none. And now I probably didn't have most things on that damn list.
Yep.
That's what's crazy, man. Like, now it's so funny because if I go back, well, when I go back, because we was at Lux Row Bardstown. We was there just...
Yep. Lux Row's right across the highway from Bardstown.
Exactly. Penelope and all the other
Yep.
stuff. And Bardstown owns Penelope, right? Is it owns Lux Row? MGP owns Penelope.
Yep.
But Penelope is a brand under Lux Row.
Maybe. I don't know that.
Well, see, Penelope was distributing there because that's where we went to go get the Penelope.
Gotcha.
So that's what's interesting. You've got Penelope who's dropping and doing their release
Yep.
at Lux Row.
Yep.
They got all this stuff set up. And they're owned by MGP because it's just MGP juice. But Lux Row is then owned by Bardstown, or tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. Chance, we need to
Yeah, Chance, where are you at? So when you look at the trifecta, we know for a fact Penelope's owned by MGP.
Yes.
That's a fact. Problem is, who owns Lux Row? That's my point. But Lux Row, for a fact, I was there. I got the footage. They're the one who dropped the Penelope drop.
Okay.
The fuck cancer, everything, like all that stuff. And then you go, well, who owns Lux Row? Well, this is a Bardstown brand, such and such. And guys, I'm probably wrong with that part. But the other two, dude, there's so many moving parts when you get into business. And all you're thinking is, how the fuck does this work, man? It works when it works out. So you would say go to Lux Row too then, or Bardstown?
I'd say go to Bardstown.
Beautiful.
Heaven Hill's right across the road from them. Too.
Oh.
Willett. Barton is down below, but I don't think Barton does any tours anymore or anything like that. I mean, Heaven Hill's a good experience. They got a great gift shop. Another great bar and restaurant in Heaven Hill.
Guys, I'm going to tell you this, man. I walked in not knowing a thing, and I still don't know, but because of videos like this, I'll have more perspective when I go back. And believe me, I shall return. And we will be getting some amazing things, but I've been to Four Roses, I've been to Wild Turkey, haven't been to Maker's Mark. Now I know it's super far, but we were far enough. I remember the sign now. We got out there far enough where it was like Maker's Mark, such and such. I can see it in my head, but I can't remember how far it was from when I saw it on that damn sign. Interesting.
Yeah,
man.
so it's out there. I mean, it's good to have a guide. It's good to have people that are driving because it's.
Yeah, I don't do no driving.
These
around
aren't
the
super
truck.
highways
That's a
out there
lie.
as far. I mean, some of these are back roads, narrow. Nice to know where you're going, how long it takes
That's
to
if
get
it's a
there.
sundown town. You like,
That's
look,
right.
been going out of here, boy.
Well, and they're only open from like 10 in the morning till 5 o'clock. So
Also
the,
a very
the
good
more
point.
you want to go to, or however much
I
time you want
think-
to spend there.
The first day we got there, when I went to Kentucky, it was maybe 5 something, and Four Roses closed at 7 or something.
Yep.
So even if we got there, they wouldn't have had the time to maneuver around
Correct.
and see what they wanted to see. So it's like, no, we're not rushing. We'll get up in the morning and go before we go to whatever we was going next. But I tell you guys, my first experience at Kentucky, I was there as a videographer and to shoot and to make sure I captured the story, which I did. And now I go as someone who people live through experience-wise, right? And I'll talk about that on another platform or on another video, but Tim literally both respects my opinion, perspective, and just the joy people have with watching my reactions and stuff. But all good places to go. This is a good video because if you think, man, where do we start when we go to Kentucky? I liked Wild Turkey. That was a good place. It was beautiful.
Yep, beautiful.
And I think they had just redid the like gift shop.
Redid the gift shop and visitor center.
And mind you, I can remember this stuff because I'm like listening to everything, but I didn't know what it looked like before. Gorgeous though.
Yep.
I like Four Roses, wood floors, well put together. The menu in it, like it was a cool little spot too, man.
That has the more Mediterranean look and feel outside, or Spanish look, I guess.
Actually, exactly. Looks like Mexican houses are somewhere that belongs in Mexico per se. You could go like Four Roses should be in Cancun or something.
Yeah.
It's very interesting when you go there because you're like, what is this place? And it kind of speaks to that fruity nature that they provide.
Correct.
That's interesting now that you're saying it. I do remember the Spanish vibes. I got to go do. Look, that is interesting because it does look completely opposite. And then I got to see Buffalo Trace. They've got a crazy system in line. I think the most interesting thing there was when the flood happened, where the water was.
Yeah.
Tim's like, you see
How
that
much
wood
water
right
came
there?
out of
Like
that river?
if the water, when you walk downstairs in the gift shop, it's like right here in some of
Yep.
those pillars, and all the stuff was sunk when they had a flood or whatnot. I said, that's interesting, man. Well, who got into this jail up here? Up in the jail area, upstairs. You've been upstairs where you see that jail
Yep.
thing. All the good bottles are there. It was like a whiskey heist. It was crazy because they were all like holding on to the bars on the outside. Oh, what's that back there? You know, old folks can't see. So, that was like, when is that dropping? It was so fun to watch their excitement with those bottles that were sitting on the top
Yep.
shelves, third shelf, and even that bottom area.
Yep. So Buffalo Trace is a nice one too. Very busy there, like going to Disney World.
They got rows like this of lines.
Snakes. Yep.
It's a whole snake line, then a line, then you have to check in, then you have to walk through. It is like Disney World. That's the only place that felt like Disney World. Jim Beam was Jack Daniels. Who owns Basil Hayden? Jim Beam.
Should be.
Jim Beam's nice.
Yeah.
I got to stop by there. It was a nice facility.
That's a nice layout too. Again, beautiful new restaurant up on the hill, overlooking some of the rick houses behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is the campus where they're shutting down distilling for this year,
Yeah, they're not making no money,
2026.
guys. That's a whole nother conversation. But to his point, I've seen some of the places. Haven't had the pleasure of seeing them all. Hell of a time, man. That's
But what I recommend is trying to, again, take some tours. Some tours are maybe better than others, but grand scheme of things, as far as the process goes, you're going to see about the same thing no matter where you go.
period. Same
As far
thing.
as how they bring the grain in, mash the grain, go through that. So for me, I go for more of the experience of looking at the buildings, looking at the facilities, and then understanding what makes their story unique. What was their history? You know, why do they choose to, get as much information as you can. Some of the people are a little more open than others as far as
And some just don't know
what's their
too.
why do they do it? What makes
Hey.
them unique? Where do they think they fit in the marketplace?
Yeah, and those are good questions, guys. Well, at any hoop, man, we're here at the Art of Whiskey, man. There is an art to whiskey, as he said. Every place is going to be similar. You're going to get the thief drink. They're going to tell you to nose and do some other stuff, and then depending on the facility, you have some good pours. We're going to get into some of these in the next episode because he brought a light little lineup tonight. We'll do a couple bottle kills, and then we'll keep enjoying some good whiskey, man. Keep it whiskey.